That's like a bunch of random items there.
Could be the Eternal Envy value items, you know. How many
it's
gloves have
not a
Hasty
bad
got?
farming item. Necro 1.
Yeah, if you're a
I don't think I've
sniper.
ever seen a Spectre Necro book before, so that'd be a first. Jabs being a nuisance. Actually, still a bountier in there at 6 minutes and 20 seconds. Snaking just
beast.
baiting him into that.
Worth, and maybe sets up the kill, but Moon, who's hasted, trying to chase down Snaking right now, needs the vision somewhere.
Tries to purge
Managed
the
to
haste,
dodge the
but
Fortune's
dodges
End,
it.
but does actually get hit by the stun from the Lion. They spooked him, but he jumps away to the orb on top of the cliff right now, has nowhere to run to, and he's preventing his auto attacks
I don't
from
think they
going
know
off.
he's stuck
Cloud9
there.
don't
He had
know
Hex.
he's on the cliff.
He had Hex.
Now he's going to throw another orb, and actually lands right in front of Misery. He may get hexed up, but it's leaving the Drill Ranger to get some damage in. The Monkey King actually jumping in, actually gets immediately coiled up. That's going to be troublesome. He's going to be kited around by 23 Savage, slows them down with Frost Arrows. Snake King runs forward, doesn't have his level 6 though. And all of Cloud9 are pretty much up at this top lane now.
Spectre should almost be level 6. Whoop, okay, just important when they have these engagements. The Haunt is a big threat. Beastmaster will be getting his 6 about the same time, so they'll be coming online with that timing. Laning Stage's not going as poorly as I thought it would, despite the fact that Fnatic is up by 1,000 gold.
Really? I think it's going very poorly.
I mean, I thought it would be worse. So
I just think the problem is, like, for Cloud9 to be able to get kills, they need to have levels on their supports, and they need to have, like, because look at the items that Fnatic are going to build, right? It's going to be a Greaves on the Snapfire, who's already very tanky. The Drow is getting all of his stat items, and he's going to, like, not die. He has 1k HP already. Once he finishes his shreds, it's going to be even more. Puck is way too elusive on the Lion's levels. And Shaker's just a strength hero. So, like, I feel like they're never going to be able to kill anything but this Grimstroke for, like, the rest of the game.
I like this rotation to the Spectre's lane when he's about to get 6, just so that the Haunt is not an easy play for the rest of Cloud9. He actually has to go mid on Spectre, still level 5. Snapfire is just chilling bottom with the Drow taking the tower. So, kind of just feels like Fnatic always out-efficiencies the opponent around this time in the game. They get that slight advantage, and then they just bring the right amount of numbers to the right places on the map, and they just get easy objectives and efficient trades.
Also trying not to give up any tier 1 tower trades for sure.
Exactly.
Coil, once again, setting up a deadly combination we saw in game 1. Leading to kill onto Ace here. Searches for more, but nothing.
And he just stays bottom as long as he thinks his Drow needs help, and he's like, okay, they're clearly not contesting this Drow taking the tower, so I'll immediately TP's mid, gets a kill off of it. That's just what I mean by the efficiencies.
And then you get 1 tower for 0. You're able to defend. Everyone gets a little bit more farm.
And suddenly you're up by 3k instead of 1k.
Yeah.
Could we get the levels? I would like to see the level difference between the supports of the teams.
They're about the same
so
right now.
Yeah, but it's an Earthshaker. Shaker doesn't really need levels. I think this Lion is quite sad. I don't know. I'm really happy here if I'm Fnatic. I think your laning phase has gone excellent.
So they are going to find a kill here on a jab to level 5 Grimstroke. He's not going to die immediately, gets out things well, but with Ace lending a helping hand, they will even up the kill score, even though Fnatic currently up 2k.
This is also one of those deaths as a 5 where you feel really good about because you get so much XP.
Yeah, and they'll especially take that trade-off. And they can get the kill on Eternal Envy, but he's going to be saved by Pylai Die. In fact, he feels comfortable turning around here. They managed to get the root onto the Puck here. Won't be able to jump away. No Waning Rift up either.
Well done.
And a very important kill. It does go to Pylai Die, who's actually on a killing spree.
Pie zoning.
Yeah.
That's the one death you said he was going to have?
I said 1 or 2.
Yeah, yeah. So he's only got maximum 1 left here.
Yeah.
Vlad's complete. We're going to get our tomes up. Lion and Earthshaker both should get boosted up to level 6.
The difference is this game between the first one is it does feel like Cloud9 has some plays to make, as opposed to last game where they're kind of just on their own side of the map over and over again.
Ice is just dead.
Yeah.
Tries to slow him down with the Scatter Blast, not good enough, but it does lead into the Puck. Managed to land a coil onto both Snaking as well as Ace. Snaking snaps it and gets a little bit low, but Ace sticks around, helping his brother in arms here. Is going to be able to take the outpost as well. Eternal Envy's going to show up with his first
Is that DD rune?
Goes top lane, gets a kill with the double damage, pops over back to mid, continues.
He is going Necrobook.
And yes, he's still going that Necrobook.
I'm ready for this. First time I've ever seen it.
I mean, they're proving me wrong. They're getting a lot of kills here that I didn't think they would get.
I mean, Envy always used to go Soul Ring. on Spectre because there's a lot of mana problems, right? You need to throw out Dagger to keep your farm up.
He's effectively got the triple Sage Mask build because he's got the Ring of Basilius plus the double Sage Mask.
Yeah, so this Necro build definitely solves that issue.
You can farm Ancients really quick, too.
Yeah. It's a good farming item. We just usually see it on heroes that have cooldown reduction.
Or heroes that have abilities that innately buff up the summons.
Right now.
No, definitely not the most popular. Still fairly potent, I think. If your lineup can fit it in, it still does a lot of work. The biggest issue I see here is that the Storm Spirit is going to be a mild issue once some form of magic immunity is going to be up. So the Yules, once that's up, is going to cause issues for the Puck. And then it's just going to be a bit harder to catch him out with the Storm Hammer from the Sven or the Root from the Oracle. If you're not, if you don't time it right, he can kind of just play around with that. So, especially once the BKB is up as well, it's just going to be a hard time to keep that Storm in place. It will take some time for that to happen, though. So OG Seed still has a pretty big window to maximize that vulnerability from the Storm. And I do like this Sven. It can flash farm quite nice when it does fall behind it. If it does fall behind it lane, it can really maximize that jungle quite fast. It comes online fairly quick. You only need like 1 or 2 items to start fights early on. And it's just a nice little pickup that I think really ties in OG Seed's draft. We saw these guys play aggressively in Game 1. The Sven will allow them to keep that up in Game 2.
Things do get a little bit harder though when you go into an Abaddon. It's one of those heroes you just don't seem to be able to kill in any of the team fights, and you generally want to avoid the man, but the Aphotic Shield spam, the Miscoil spam, it can all be a little bit frustrating to deal with. And as it stands, with that Abaddon, it's going to be much harder to stop this this Storm Spirit from doing whatever he wants in the team fights, right? Like, you've got the Dream Call there. Storm doesn't really enjoy playing into that, but with at least with the Aphotic Shield, all the rest of the disables are just going to be purged off.
Yeah, that's one big boon there for EG. It doesn't give them as much team fight, though. Like, their team fight's definitely not up there compared to Game 1. And even compared to what OG Seed has now, but they are definitely making sure that their Storm Spirit will have a good time with that Abaddon pick. So more than likely, we're going to be seeing Ramses playing that in the offlane, of course. And it's going to be interesting to see how they tie up this draft. They still need safe laner to really maximize this kind of lineup. The Lifestealer would have been great. It would eat right through the Sven. You've got the natural vehicle in that Storm Spirit. It is banned out by OG Seed, though.
We see Amiibo banned straight into the Morphling. So it's an Arteezy Morphling, and if you do watch the Arteezy streams, John, you'll notice he's been playing a lot of Morphling recently. So we'll see how it all performs. Morphling into the Puck, into the Void Spirit, even into the Sven, I guess it's pretty nice, right? Like, just morphing into any of these heroes, they all have very valuable abilities for you to just take advantage of. And as it stands, I mean, they haven't really got the greatest ways of locking down the Morph nor the Storm Spirit. So I wonder, how do you finish this draft off if you're OG Seed?
I suppose you look for something that can give you additional control here. You have pretty good teamfight as is, but if you can get something that ensures that you can lock down either the Storm or the Morph early on, that'd be great. I'd say they do have their cores up. It looks like they will be looking for a support, unless they are going to go for that support Puck. If they do go for that kind of move, I'd say something like the Legion would be nice, but they go with a Beastmaster, so that's the control you're looking for. It gives them great push as well. It's great presence in lane. The biggest issue I have for EG right now is that their timing with these two cores, with the Storm Spirit and Morph, and arguably even the Abaddon if you're trying to make it a big core. It takes a while for all of those heroes to come online, especially the Storm. We've seen the Storm fall behind multiple times before. We've seen the Morphling fall behind multiple times before as well. And these are two heroes that require so much farm. Compare that to OG Seed. Void Spirit doesn't require too much. Puck doesn't require too much. The Beastmaster doesn't require too much. The Sven doesn't require too much. All of these heroes are going to be up and running by the 15-minute mark. And if EG's not careful, they could lose a lot of ground as they did in Game 1.
Now he comes back to lane. Oracle
Very
doesn't
true.
have like 500 mana
Of course, we
anymore
are
to
going
spam
to
all
go
his
going
spells and
into
chase
game
down
number
from the
2
bottom of
very,
the
very
lane.
soon. It is a best of 2
And if
series.
the Shaker...
We are just waiting for the Sven pickup here from Madara. In OG Seed, game number 1, they waiting the heavy underdog here from Madara betting goes, but they pull off game 1. Game number 2, just looking at these drafts, John, I want you to tell me which team do you think has a slightly better chance here, but just based off they pull off game 1.
I'd say overall, I'd say OG Seed. I think if they can get that early momentum, it's going to be almost a similar sort to game 1, except EG has an easier way of coming back in. The key thing for EG now is that they're not dealing with 2 lives in every single hero. So if you do clean up that back line, you are actually taking out their supports. You know, they're not going to be around to save anyone else. They're not going to be around to get their stuns off. They're not going to be around to slow down that team fight. So the biggest priority for EG in this case is to take out Pexu, take out that Oracle straight off the bat, take away that sustain and control, and then ensure that the Beastmaster is not going to be locking down your Storm Spirit and Morphling. You know, you can't allow that Roar to be used as the initiation tool for OG Seed. If they can always play around that Roar cooldown, find a pick off on a core, transition to a tower push. Again, we saw them do the exact same thing in game 1.
We did. Mind you, that was with a Chen, which does feel like you just have the obvious advantage in the early game with the Chen. This time they won't have the option, but I do also tend to agree with the points you're making. This draft does seem quite potent from OG Seed. If they I think we can both agree if it goes late, the Storm Morphling gets very, very scary though from EG. So it's going to be maybe a matter of just holding out for EG throughout that mid game, just not giving away too much to this OG Seed side. I suppose only time's going to tell, John, as we have started game number 2.
Oh yeah. It's going to be interesting to see. I think the lane switch up that we're seeing here is going to be fascinating. Madara is walking up the top lane. So it looks like they will toss down Sibi for the bot lane. And if EG does force a tri-lane down bot, this is exactly what OG Seed would want. They would want to give their Sven an easier time. The Beastmaster wouldn't mind copying a bit of a hard lane. Like, all he could dip into the jungle. But at the end of the day, the Beastmaster initially really just wants to get some EXP. I think you just want to get higher levels to get your boar up, to apply harass in the lane. Last hits are nice to have, of course. Rushing your Necrobooks is good, or your Dominator, but you just want to be a constant annoyance as the Beastmaster. And I think even if you throw a lot of heroes down there, he will always be a nuisance.
See how Chessie can perform in the mid lane up against the Storm. Arbit had a great start last game, it just didn't transition to much. Like Arteezy is going down towards the bot lane on the morph. It looks like they're gonna lane Arteezy and fly down to that bot lane. He is gonna be up against Sippy, like you already mentioned, on the Beastmaster. Looks like they're gonna lane Arteezy and fly down. So they do get the correct matchups here, at least for EG. Definitely a much easier time up against the solo Beastmaster than it would be up against the seeming tri-lane of OGC. Fortunately for Ramses, he's the one who's gonna have to put up with that tri-lane if they do keep it up, but they don't. They do TP one back down bottom. That's gonna be Pexu on the Oracle. Madara already giving Ramses a tip on the Abaddon to get this game started. It is OG after all.
Lane. Yeah, it's going to be a rough lane for EG. I think no matter what matchup they go for. Like, the Morphling early on, initial tree levels are going to be a bit rough.
Rough start for Arteezy. 2 last hits, 2 denies in comparison to the 3 and 4 of Sibi. Of course, Pexu just going to be there harassing with those auto attacks of the Oracle. And the Oracles are very, very frustrating to support to have to lane against because he does have a fair bit of burst damage, especially once you get to that level 3 mark and you have level 2 Purifying Flames. And for a Morphling who's generally on very low HP, and as you can see Arteezy is on 380 HP right now, he could get bursted rather quick if he's not careful.
Something he has to always be conscious about, and still kind of playing it low here.
Pexu getting a little too deep. Arteezy going to waveform forward. Pexu going to try and juke him out. In fact, he does get a salve off. They do start strength morphing on Arteezy, but Fortune Zen comes in. He's falling low. Sibby, can you find it? They do get the morphling, but the first blood will go to Fly on the Snapfire. Are you happy about that if you're EG?
You do manage to get a bit more EXP there, but with Sibby actually just soaking that kill by himself, he gets a little bit more EXP in that trade, even without the first blood bonus to gold.